What's up, everybody? This is TEKNOBLAST on TechNose Gaming, and that's right. I am not watching the award show. I am just not watching it. I'll catch the replays or the trailers that are coming out as the show goes on. I did it last year. I did it the year before that, and I'm going to do it this year as well because I just don't support Jeffrey. I don't like him. I don't. I just don't. I've hated him for the longest time. He's just doesn't do it for me. So I wish they would have a different host, but that's not going to happen because it's his show and he's always going to be around to host that show. So enough of the show, and I'm sure there's probably some IGN videos already. Let's check it out. Let's see if anything's released yet. Nope, they're still from the 3 hours ago. So let's just go into the topic itself and go into it right now without any fluff, without any fantastic stuff that's going on in the gaming news, because the biggest thing in the gaming news right now is the FTC is suing Microsoft to block its Activision Blizzard purchase. So everybody's been keeping tabs on this for the last few months, ever since Microsoft announced that they're going to purchase Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. And the only one that has been the only company that's been having an issue with this is Sony. Sony is completely afraid. Sony is scared. Sony doesn't know what to do because they never seen this from anybody. Sony has always been the one to set the rules, set the expectations, set what the gaming, set what should be in the gaming industry. And now Microsoft is stepping up in a big way, and Sony just doesn't know how to handle it. Sony is afraid. They're being really chicken shit about everything because everything's great everything is great for Sony as long as it benefits Sony. Everything's great in the gaming industry as long as it benefits Sony. If it benefits anybody else, then no, they're going to cry about it. Sony and Jim Ryan are going to cry about it. They're going to complain about it. They're gonna cry and go to Brussels, go lobby at Congress, make their comments that they want, and just complain about it. Pretty much just bitch at everything Microsoft is doing because they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to handle competition. Just like everybody's been saying, they've been the leader in the gaming industry, and now they're about to lose, and they cannot stand it. They don't know how to lose, and they need to learn fast because they're gonna lose. So let's see what this says. The FTC has filed a legal challenge to try and block Microsoft. Microsoft planned to buy Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion, according to a press release from the regulator. The lawsuit was filed today after weeks of back and forth between Microsoft, Sony, and regulators over competition concerns of the future of Call of Duty. The FTC argues that the acquisition would enable Microsoft to suppress competitors to its Xbox gaming console and the rapidly growing subscription content and cloud gaming business. You can read the complaint here, blah blah blah, at the place. So Sony is afraid that Microsoft's going to do what Sony's been doing all this time. Ever since Sony has been in the business of the console business in the gaming industry, they've been buying up time exclusives. They've been buying up studios to make their games exclusive. And now that somebody else is doing it, Microsoft, they hate it. Sony is pretty much saying, we don't like you doing this, only we can do it. That's it. That's their argument. That's their argument. And another thing is, if people don't realize, Sony doesn't have a marquee first-person shooter game. They don't have a first-person shooter game of their own. They had Killzone, and they killed it. They had Haze, and they killed it. Both of those games were supposed to be Halo killer type games, and they died. And What's up, Sick? I don't know if you're watching the award show or just gonna watch me, but hey, I'll put the link in our chat if you care to join. But it's just Sony is afraid. They're scared. They don't know what to do. It's just insane. So let me do something here real quick. They're scared. They're scared. They don't know what to do because real competition is coming now. Microsoft is stepping up their game. Microsoft is buying what they need to buy up to compete, because that's what everybody's been saying since Microsoft stepped into the gaming industry. Microsoft doesn't compete. Microsoft doesn't compete. They don't have this. They don't have that. And when they start doing it a lot more now, nobody knows how to react. Everybody hates it that Microsoft is buying publishing companies. Oh no, they're buying publishing companies. They're not supposed to do that. Sony buys studios. Nobody buys publishing companies at that massive scale. Well, it's never been done before because nobody's ever tried it. So Microsoft tried it. They had the funds for it. And they're doing it. But now everybody's like, oh, hands off. That's not the way to do business. That's not the way to do business. You can't be buying up publishing companies for competition. But Sony can purchase all these little studios because that's all they can purchase. They can buy up all these third-party time exclusives or sometimes even permanent exclusives. And that's okay, right? That's okay because it's not a whole publishing company, right? That's how they're trying to argue this. The fans, Sony, everybody is trying to argue against it because Sony only purchases studios while Microsoft is trying to buy publishing companies that has tons of studios underneath it. Well, if you got the money, why not? Microsoft has the money. Let them buy it. If you can't afford it, well, that's too bad for you. You're SOL. So it continues. The vote from FTC commissioners today means Microsoft now faces significant hurdles to getting its Activision deal complete. Regulators in the UK, EU are also scrutinizing the deal closely, despite Microsoft repeating attempts to appease the regulators. Microsoft has already shown that it can and withhold content from its gaming rivals. Holly, director of the FTC Bureau, said in a statement, "Today we seek to stop Microsoft from gaining control over the leading independent game studio and using it to harm competition in multiple dynamic and fast-growing gaming markets." Well, when they bought ZeniMax, they didn't take away any games. You can still play Doom. You can still play Deathloop. You can still play Ghostwire, Dishonored, Prey, Wolfenstein, Fallout. You can still play all those games. It's still there on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. They're not taken away. So they didn't go back on any other word. And on top of that, Microsoft honored those contracts that were already in place. So Deathloop was exclusive for PlayStation for a year. Ghostwire is exclusive to PlayStation for a year, but they didn't complain about that, did they? Sony were hush hush when it came to those two games. They're really quiet and hoping that nobody brings it up, right? They're really hush hush about those two titles when Microsoft purchased ZeniMax. But somehow they're the big bad person. They're the big bad company. Oh no, Microsoft, big bad company, taking away publishing companies. They're not supposed to be doing that. We continue to believe that the deal will expand competition and create more opportunities for gamers and game developers, Brad Smith, Microsoft vice chair and president, said in a statement to The Verge. We have We have been committed since day one to addressing competition concerns, including by offering earlier this week proposed concessions to the FTC. While we believe in giving peace a chance, we have complete confidence in our case and welcome the opportunity to present our case in court. So they're not bending the knee. They're pretty much saying, we're going to fight you on this and you're going to lose, pretty much. And that's what's going to happen because the FTC doesn't have a good track record. Sony has somebody in their pockets. I'm making a claim right now. They got somebody in their pockets, and I've said this in a tweet earlier. The FTC is becoming very anti-consumer and anti-American because you're siding with a foreign company, a foreign product over your American-made company, American-made product and your American company. So yes, I would say that FTC right now is becoming very anti-American, anti-consumer because Sony is crying. Sony's afraid of real competition. They don't know what to do. The company's corporate vice president of communication, Frank X, dude, that's got to be so boss. You come around, what's your name, Mr. X? Frank X. Or Shaw. Also tweeted a link to a document titled "And Get the Facts: How Microsoft is Committed to Growing Gaming Communities." And they are. When have you seen Sony come out and grow a community? They haven't done anything to the community at all. Nothing. You always see something from Microsoft, whether it's for a hospital, it's for this, it's for that, it's the adaptive controller, it's programs to include, gaming for women, developing women developers, everything. But you see nothing at all from the Sony side. So what Microsoft is doing, they have been doing this for the longest time. If people forget, they have selective memory. That it's not only just the gaming community, it's the extension of that and how it helps developing more developers, developing people, get people, especially women, get them in more into the gaming industry, right? You don't see Sony doing that, right? So it's not just about the games itself, it's the extensions beyond the game itself, the communities, the industry that comes along with it, that Microsoft is growing. And Sony has stayed stagnant, has done nothing while Microsoft is growing. In a letter to Activision employees, CEO Bobby Kotick told staff that he wants to reinforce my confidence that the acquisition will close. The allegation that the deal is anti-competitive doesn't align with the facts, and we believe we'll win this challenge, he said. The company also posted an internal email pinned by Jeb Boatman, Activision's CFP of litigation, regulatory, and public law, outlining its position on the deal. And before I go on with this next part, let me go ahead and read it. Microsoft offered Sony a 10-year deal on the new Call of Duty games last month, but Sony hasn't yet accepted the offer. A similar deal was agreed upon between Nintendo and Valve, though it could see Call of Duty heading to Nintendo console if the Activision deal is approved. So as you can see, Microsoft is offering a 10-year deal to both Nintendo and Valve so it could be on their console. That's growing. I don't know how that's anti-consumer. That is growing. They offer it to Sony as well. You're still getting the game. What are you crying about? And that gives enough time for Sony to develop their own first-person shooter, their first party, because supposedly their first-party studios are top-notch, top of the industry, and nobody can compete against their studios. But somehow their studios can't come up with a good first-person shooter. So Microsoft offered a 10-year deal to both Nintendo and Valve, and they accepted, right? And you got to remember, some of you guys don't remember this, but back on the Wii, Call of Duty was on there. I have it, so I can prove it, right? I don't have to prove it. You can just look it up yourself. Call of Duty Ghosts is on there. Is it the best version of Call of Duty? No, it's not. I played it and it's trash, right? Especially on the Wii. Will I get it on Nintendo? No, I won't. Why would I? I got it on Xbox. I got it on Xbox Game Pass if it ever comes to Game Pass. Valve. Valve even said, hey, we don't need an agreement. We trust you. So you got all these companies praising what Microsoft is doing. You get the one company, Sony, who's afraid of everything, right? Afraid of what's going on with this deal. Microsoft frustration over Sony's objections to its Activision Blizzard deal have been clear. Sony has emerged as the loudest objector. Sony has, or Jim Ryan said Microsoft President Brad Smith on Wall Street Journal. It's exciting about this deal as Blockbuster was about the rise of Netflix. Microsoft also described the UK's competition, or CMA, concerns as misplaced and accused the regulator of adopting Sony's complaints without considering the potential harm to consumers. Microsoft has also accused Sony of paying developers to keep their content off its Xbox Game Pass service, and Sony has even argued that Microsoft Activision acquisition could hurt developers and lead to price rises. It is true. So now Sony is including clauses in their contracts with developers saying you cannot put this on Game Pass. Why work with Sony? And enough with this, oh, he got 150 million. No, you don't. You do not have that many user base. Okay? You just don't. So like the cool kids say it, stop capping. Stop the cap. Right? I hate using that. I'm not even reusing it right? Am I? So Sony is the only one complaining. Sony is the only one bitching about this deal. And why should everybody listen to them? Right? They've been doing this for years. They've been paying developers, keep it off at Game Pass, keep it off Xbox. We have a 1-year exclusive on content, right? We have 1-year exclusive year agreement on content. And then Microsoft comes in, you know what? All right, we'll just buy the whole company. Oh, no, you can't do that. Oh, no, you can't do that. Oh, you can't buy just the whole publishing company, right? You want to buy exclusive deals? We're going to buy the publishing company and everything underneath the publishing company, just like ZeniMax. And they've already said time after time again, we're going to keep these games multi-plat. It doesn't make sense to buy it and keep it off. And yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. And so I will continue saying that FTC is being very, very anti-consumer, right? And I'll take it a step up, anti-American. They're going against Microsoft. They're saying, no, you can't buy this because we saw what you did with ZeniMax. What they do? They just bought it and they still got the exclusive deals with Ghostwire and Deathloop. They honor that. I'm sure Sony's not saying anything about that, are they? I bet you Sony's like, well, they did commit to those contracts when they purchased it. They don't bring that up, right? They're worried about losing out because they've always been winning, but they don't have their own shooter. That's what's pathetic. You go back to Xbox, they have Halo. They got Gears, right? State of Decay, somewhat with the split genre there of survival. You got to shoot, right? Microsoft is set with their content. They're just adding more, and they're making it more available across the board with your tablet, with your phone, with your TV, with the stream stick, on your browser. That's growing the community. Microsoft is not taking it away. If you want to play Call of Duty, there's plenty of ways of playing it, right? But nope, This goes against the business model of Sony's business model. They hate it. They can't keep up with the change. They can't keep up with the future. And they don't know what to do except cry and pay off FTC. That's all they can do right now. I think my forehead's a little bright here. I need to lower my light a little bit here. So yeah, I'm not watching the show. And let's see. Let's go back to IG. Well, let's continue here. So let's go with famous Jamie Moran. I like him. This guy. Microsoft broke zero promise when it comes to Bethesda, so they are relying on the FTC not knowing anything. Sony is literally lying and basically saying only they can have exclusive. Legacy titles remain, which is what was originally promised, and it's true. You can still play all those games. It has not been taken away, right? And then FTC has, like, anybody's going to side with the FTC right now. They're not getting on anybody's good graces right now. So they have posted everything, right? Thread after thread after thread. Right. And of course, they're just getting torn apart in the replies. What's the other cool thing that kids say? Ratioed? Because I think that just sounds dumb to me and it's stupid. They're getting ratioed here. So this is idiotic. Why put up a fight? You know Microsoft's going to win. Sony just needs to sack up and get some balls. Man up, take your punches, get your licks, stand up, go back to business, and get your studios that are supposed to be top notch in the industry, and create your own FPS game. Create your own first-person shooter. Right? Remember, you had 2 games that were supposed to be Halo killers. What happened to that? I even bought into the whole Killzone when it first came out. Shadowfall, remember that game? When it came out on the PS4, I bought it. And now it's just a wasted digital game. Where's my refund on that, Sony? You told me that was going to be the... Oh, who's that? It's Theo? That's got to be my niece, my beautiful niece. I see you. Yeah. And so... Yes, so let's see on IGN if any new games have been posted, because I told you I'm not going to watch the Game Award show. I refuse to. Everybody else is watching it. Everybody's losing their nuts over it. I'm not going to watch it because I just can't stand that guy, that Jeffrey guy. So we got a few here. Dead Cell. Okay, Return to Castlevania. You know, I enjoy Dead Cells, but the whole rogue kind of thing, it's just not for me. I can't deal with dying and then going back. Cindy, oh, my sister. I can't deal with having my character be deleted or offed and then having to go through the whole thing over and over again. Can't do it. I can't do it. Vampire Survivor mobile trailer. So is this a mobile game? No, I don't care about mobile games. Hellboy, Web of Word. I guess that's what it's called. I guess I'll watch that later. Post Trauma must be. Oh, it's a third person. Okay, I'll have to watch that later. So let's just put that here, but don't play it. And see, let me refresh this. And they still haven't announced anything new, so I'll leave it at that. Uh-oh, I hear people coming up the stairs. I need to put a red light outside to let them know that I'm having a live stream here, because they like to come in sometimes and bother me. I don't like that. That's just very disrespectful. Very disrespectful, and I don't like it. So to continue on, Sony needs to shut up and move on and create their own game. If they're that concerned about losing Call of Duty and the revenue behind it, they need to create their own first-person shooter and, put those studios to work. put those studios to work because supposedly they're the top notch of the industry. Nobody can compete with those studios because they're top notch. They're on the game, man. They are the best studios on the planet, man. They can create any game possible, man. Sony's developers cannot be touched, man. Why can't they create a first-person shooter game then? I want to see that. All right, so I'll be here a few more minutes. Let's see if, oops, wrong tab. Nope, no other trailers, so. I am a weirdo, right, CC? I am a weirdo. Sorry. I'm weird. This is what I do. This is my weeknights, sometimes weekends thing that I do. I'll come on here, start bitching about the FTC blocking Microsoft on purchasing Activision Blizzard because Sony's crying. Oh no. Because Sony can't create their own type of Call of Duty type game. And Microsoft wants to buy them. And oh no, that's not fair. You're not supposed to buy complete publishing companies with all the studios. You can only buy time exclusives and studios themselves. Well, Microsoft is changing the game. They got the money, they're gonna buy it. So sack it up, shut up, and make your own game.
Oh, okay. I was saying because he don't even look that good as a character. Oh, well, that is funny.
Everybody's like, look at this. Everybody's doing it like their live shows right now because they're doing the.
It's elite.
Yes, you are. You effing techno. I love you, man. That's right. I love you too, random person.
I don't know if I'm a player that much.
All right, so I'm getting hungry. It's 7 o'clock. Oh my goodness, it's late. Okay, it's 7 o'clock, and there's nothing else.
DJ, that was his name. Yeah, that's his name.
Bro, I actually
Nope.
said that.
Yeah, he said D.
Mother
But
is
you
being
said
a
D
dumb.
Backs.
Mother,
Well, yeah,
You're
but
being
his
a
name is
dummy.
literally D.
all right.
DJ,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna get something to
like
eat. I
DJ
made some
Super Fire
gumbo
too.
earlier today, and I'm gonna eat some more.
Damn, who's that? Who's that big broad? That big muscular
I'm
broad.
gonna eat some more,
That's a
and
big bitch.
that's it.
Some nigga's a new character.
Yo,
It's
big.
It's like, let me
And,
dominate me
Well,
anytime.
Everybody, you guys know how to reach me. It's all in the description, and I'll talk to you guys later.
This was dope.
Good night. Have fun, and hope
I'm
you
not
guys
a
enjoyed the
street
games that are coming out
fighter.
soon. Bye bye. Good night.
Yeah, let's see what's tech